Hello. Manpreet ma'am, I'm audible?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening to all the participants, chief guests, guests of honor, chief patrons, and prospectors. I warmly welcome you all to the 1 week international training program Plant 2025. My name is Manjot Kaur and I have the privilege of attending today's valuable event. Many participants have joined us through our YouTube channel also. Before moving forward, remembering God and taking His holy name, we begin today's session. Now, on the behalf of AgriWorks Green, our esteemed knowledge partners, ICR Atari Ludhiana and ICR Atari Kolkata, and our valued collaborators, Chandigarh University, Biocop Seeds, Akal Degree College, and Sara Welfare Foundation Trust. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the International Training Program, Plant 2025, Practical Learning in Agriculture and Allied Next Generation Techniques, also known as Plant 2025, being held from 18 to 24th December 2025. Plant 2025 is not just a training program, it is a movement towards transformative agriculture. Over the next week, participants will immerse themselves in cutting edge modules on digital agriculture tools, entrepreneurship in agribusiness, sustainable farming practices, integrated horticulture systems, climate resilience strategies, global bloom initiative, inclusive growth modules, academic excellence sessions. Our vision of Plant 2025 is to lead a transformative movement in agriculture and allied sciences through ethical research, innovative technologies, and sustainable entrepreneurship that uplifts communities and ensures global food and resource security. Our mission of Plant 2025 is to empower researchers, entrepreneurs, and farmers by fostering academic integrity, advancing agri-tech solutions, and promoting sustainable practices in seed production, livestock, exotic crops, and resource management, driving inclusive growth and international competitiveness. Key objective of Plant 2025 is to provide participants with digital agriculture tools, including drones, AI, IoT, and mobile applications to enhance precision farming and decision making. Foster innovative thinking in agribusiness by guiding participants to design, launch, and scale sustainable and profitable agri enterprises. Promote sustainable farming practices that conserve resources, improve soil health, and support long-term ecological balance. Integrate horticulture system across vegetables, fruits, and floriculture to diversify farm income and enhance agroecosystem resilience. Encourage innovation and problem solving through hands-on learning, case studies, and exposure to emerging agricultural technologies. Enhance academic writing and publishing skills to empower participants to contribute to educational discourse and circulate impactful findings. Build a collaborative learning environment that connects farmers, researchers, entrepreneurs, and policymakers for holistic agriculture development. Now, moving forward, it is my honor to introduce Professor Dr. Dhyanpal Singh. He is a distinguished academician, visionary leader, and one of the India's most respected voices in agriculture sciences. His career reflects an extraordinary blend of scientific scholarship, institutional leadership, and unwavering commitment to advancing agronomy for national and global food security. Dr. Singh has served with exceptional distinction as the Vice Chancellor of Jawaharlal Nehru Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh, where he played a transformative role in strengthening research, education, and outreach programs across the university. His academic foundation is equally impressive. He holds a BSc and MSc in agriculture from Agra University, followed by a PhD in agronomy from the renowned Martin Luther University, Halle, Germany, one of Europe's leading centers of agricultural research. Over the span of his illustrious career, Dr. Singh has made profound contributions to agriculture sciences. His outputs include 164 research papers, 27 book chapters, and 26 conference papers, reflecting both depth and breadth in agronomy, resource management, and sustainable agricultural systems. His research has significantly influenced agricultural practices in semi-arid and tropical regions, where resource constraints demand innovative and resilient solutions. Dr. Singh has also held several key academic leadership positions, including head of the Department of Agronomy and Dean of the College of Agriculture, where he mentored generation of students, scientists, and young faculty. His outstanding contribution have been recognized through numerous awards and honors, underscoring his enduring impact on agronomy, agricultural education, and rural development in India. Today, Dr. Dhyanpal Singh joins the Plant 2025 International Training Program as an eminent speaker. He will deliver a highly insightful lecture on management and agentic options for improving productivity of water and other intellect resources in semi-arid and tropical regions of developing countries. His expertise offers a critical perspective on sustainable resource use, climate resilient agriculture, and the future of food production in vulnerable environments. We are privileged to invite Dr. Dhyanpal Singh, our guest of honor, to grace this training program session with his words. Dr. Singh, kindly on your video and audio.
ये हट गया।
नहीं आपका आगे बोलिए।
Thank you,
Yes,
Dr.
sir, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Manjut Kaur, for your nice words. And am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Manpreet ma'am, kindly share the slides, please.
Okay, ma'am.
ये तो यहाँ भी इस पर स्लाइड आ जाएंगे। So thanks for inviting me to share some of my experiences with the young budding scientists who are attending this particular training. And today my talk is management and genetic options for the improving productivity of water and other interlinked resources in semi-arid and tropical regions of developing countries. So as we know that India, with just 24% of the global geographical area and 4.5% water resources, supports about 17% human and 11% livestock population of the country. There has been several-fold increase in the production of agriculture-based commodities, which raised the status of India from food importing to a self-sufficient and food exporting countries. The major issues which concern today to everybody who are doing farming is ever increasing population, a major problem in developing countries. Currently, over 25% people lack adequate quality food. In future, food security and hidden hunger, such as protein and micronutrient deficiency, will be more serious, especially in women and children. The overexploitation of land and water resources is another major issue. Degradation of environment, indiscriminate use of agrochemicals, little diversification, and greater risk in economic disparity and livelihood insecurity, food and water insecurity, instability, and other uncertainty. The level of greenhouses and other gases, pollution gases, particularly in air, soil, water, is another major issue. Global warming impacting Indian agriculture due to various kinds of hazards, stress, uncertainty. And as we know that in most of the states and other countries, there have been sometimes floods and sometimes drought. And this inevitability of the climate is very uncertain, particularly to the farmers to adjust their agriculture practices and other things. Current trend in improving crop production are disappointing, and they need reparation by developing suitable approaches to enhance the resource base, farmers' income, and empowerment to rural people. In future, there will be war for water, and you will see that not only the farmers, but drinking water, which will also be the major issue. Water is the most valuable and scarce resource and vital factor in the production of life chain, and hence needs special consideration for improving its productive and economic efficiency to address several issues linked to the food security. Water resources for human and agriculture consumption in India, less than 0.08% of Earth's water is available for human consumption. Currently, 1/3 of global population faces water shortage. In this particular, by 2025, 2/3 of the humanity is already facing the shortage of fresh water in India. Per capita availability of water reduced from 5,000 cubic meter in 1950 to 1,800 cubic meter in 2000, and by 2025 it will be 1,500 cubic meter per capita. Currently, agriculture consumes 75 to 85% of fresh water. Water available to agriculture will be reduced to 70% because there will be more demand of water for industries and other purposes. So for global food security, there is a need to improve the water productivity, efficiency of irrigated and rainfed ecosystem. FAO has projected that 14% of increase of water withdrawal in 93 developing countries. 45 million hectare net expansion in irrigated area, that is again will require more water for sustaining the agricultural production. In water deficit environment, the yield in water deficit environment is a function of TWH. So T denotes Y yield denotes yield, and T denotes water passing through the crop as transpiration. Because when we see the cropping agriculture, then water may be lost through the system as evaporation. Water may be lost from the system as deep infiltration, and water may be lost from the system as runoff. So all efforts and agriculture practices should be directed to increase the water passing through the crop as transpiration. W denotes water efficiency in physiological term, that is net carbon gain per unit of water. And in agriculture production term, it is yield per cubic hectare centimeter of water. And H denotes harvest index. So breeders have made a lot of efforts to divert the biomass from root shoot to the developing grain, so that in total biomass the importance of harvest index is generated. And with the introduction of dwarf wheat and other dwarf rice, this particular goal, that is high harvest index, is achieved in several crop varieties. And under different system of irrigation, when we see the irrigation efficiency, particularly surface and flood method, there is only 35% to 35% irrigation efficiency. When we move from flood system of irrigation to sprinkler system of irrigation, then the irrigation efficiency is increased from 50 to 60%. And when we move further from a sprinkler to drip system of irrigation, then the efficiency of irrigation is increased to 80 to 90%. So all of our efforts should be made to check, control the flood system of irrigation, and we should move to pressurized system of irrigation like a sprinkler and drip system of irrigation. And for improving the water use efficiency, particularly in flood system of irrigation, land leveling is very important, and the methods of irrigation, when we go for check basin is particularly important for heavy soils or those soils which are very sandy in nature. And border strips is particularly very important for the medium textured soil. And in border system, if the borders are well designed, one can irrigate even 5 centimeter water very, very uniformly. And in that condition, with 1% slope and the length of cutoff, that is when the water reached the border up to 80 to 90% area, then the outlet should be closed, and rest area will be irrigated by the water which is stagnated at the upper end of the border. And furrow, surge, and flow irrigation is another important for water saving devices. Raised bed planting is another important Sunken raised bed is again very important, particularly in those areas which have a high rainfall. In that condition, the sunken beds can be used to high water requiring crops like rice, and raised bed can be used to any crop like pulses or the maize or other things which require less water. So we will have to move from pressurized system irrigation by just controlling or reducing the flood system of irrigation. But these are some of the techniques which are very important to economize the water use even under flood system irrigation. Then, for pressurized systems, we will have to move to plastic culture with drip. When there is plastic over the drips, then there is total control of water loss in evaporation, and also there is no water loss through the weeds, other things. So these are some of the examples which I am just quoting. Furrow irrigated raised bed system is very important, and you see that the paired row system is important. The water is diverted to furrow, and that furrows, they can just take care of the 2 rows of the wheat or other crops. And in this condition, the better interception of energy, particularly when the solar radiation comes and there is enough space between 2 furrow rows, and that particular enhance the productivity of wheat and other crops which are grown under furrow irrigated raised bed planting system. Then currently in India, the status of micro irrigation is about 7.7 million hectare. Drip has its share to about 3.37 million hectare, and a sprinkler method 4.36 million hectare. So there is a need to increase by all means the area under micro irrigation in India. If you go Maharashtra, in Maharashtra, every crop is under drip system of irrigation because the water is particularly not available in adequate quantity, and farmers, they use every crop, starting from sugarcane, maize, even castor and other crops. They are under totally drip system of irrigation. In Haryana, there is one area where the strawberries are grown, and strawberry is also grown under drip system of irrigation covered with plastic culture. I'm just saying, showing you the slide where the drip system is underneath with the plastic over the drip system. So in that condition, the water consumption from the crop increased because there is a reduction in the water loss from the system in evaporation, and water is lost from the system used by weeds and other things. So that is another example of floriculture, and currently the farmers are getting lot of subsidy to go from the open plastic culture to covered plastic culture, that is the net system of irrigation, where there is a reduction, even the solar supply or radiation is reduced to cut the evaporation from the field, even under open system of irrigation. Then the most important issue, which is important particularly for the farmers, the balanced use of fertilizer with water is very important. And in that condition, the inclusion of the legumes in cropping system, green manure, and other things. So the soil system, particularly when there is a degradation, we should increase the organic matter content of the soil by all means. Use of legumes and other things. Haryana and Punjab particularly, the rice straw is burnt to some extent by farmer, but they, in that condition, they lose the soil organic matter and also the useful bacteria and earthworm and other flora, which are very important for the healthy soil. So we should make our all efforts to increase the use of the recycling of the rice straw in the soil system. In Sangrur itself, I was just talking to Dr. Samra, our ex-DDG nature resource management, and there are some farms which are collaborating with the Punjab government from Germany, and they are using the biomass for production of the CNG gas. Biomass can also be used for ethanol, but for that purpose, the farmers should be encouraged, and they should also be given some subsidy to harvest, collect, and transport that straw from the field to the units which are using these biomass. So, under balanced use of fertilizer, particularly, the plant maintained greater soil water extraction, higher treasure potential, higher leaf area index, more radiation interruption, cooler canopy, and higher canopy photosynthesis with integrated resource management, water fertilizer. Thus, when there is water and the balanced use of fertilizer, then the crops which are giving higher yield, they are using same amount of water if the crops are having imbalanced use of fertilizer. But under balanced use of fertilizer, there is increase in the productivity, which otherwise in turn increases the water use efficiency. Then in rainfed ecosystem, particularly when there is high rainfall, then all our efforts should be made to increase the water infiltration, and this is the total watershed management, particularly in slopey area in Madhya Pradesh, when the farmers are just putting the small ponds, particularly for just reducing the water loss from upper edge to lower edge, and they increase the water retention time, with the result that there is more infiltration of water inside the soil profile. And particularly from this system, in Madhya Pradesh, in watershed scarcity area, there has been a lot of improvement in the groundwater level and their availability. Then sunken and raised bed is again very important, particularly when there is uncertainty of the rainfall, and we do not know when there will be drought or the flood. So in that condition, the sunken beds and raised bed, that is very important system which in which the paddy can have the excess water for its growth and productivity, and soybean and other low water requiring crops, they are grown on raised beds, so they again cannot suffer due to high rainfall, and this system particularly increases the productivity by about 15 to 20%. Then, besides the water conservation, the role of improved genotypes is another very important phenomena, because when you are growing the improved varieties or the local varieties which are low yielding, in that condition, the water consumption is the same, but the productivity of water increased due to the increase in the total yield of the crops. So, in drought-prone areas, particularly, there are some important traits which are beneficial for the crops to extract water from the lower layers of the soil profile. So phenology is very important, in which the breeders have made their efforts to reduce the days of maturity or the crop cycle of the crop to a shorter duration. In that condition, the crop may complete their life cycle before the onset of drought. The rooting pattern is very, very important, because in the soil profile, whether you can grow any crop, but the subsoil is always having water, but roots are not able to extract water from the subsurface soil. Then osmotic adjustment is another phenomenon in which the plant cell, they accumulate the solutes, and in that condition, when there is a water shortage, then the osmotic adjustment help to maintain greater dehydration of the cells, and in that condition particularly there is increase in the rooting depth, and also the extraction of water from the lower levels to lower level soil profile to increase the productivity of water. Then when there is complete when there is water deficit to the extent that there is no further photosynthesis, in that condition, certain genotypes can maintain high assimilate transfer from root shoot to the developing grain. In that condition, even with less biomass, the grain yield is maintained by certain crops. So I am giving some examples. In Haryana particularly, when we conducted experiments for 3 years with different rainfall year, particularly from monsoon season. In that condition, in 1983, that is old data, but it is still very reliable. The total rainfall available from the monsoon season was 391, which is normal. Then in 1984, it was 330, which is again we say normal. One in 87, 88, that was the drought area in whole of the North India where the crop may suffer very badly during monsoon season as well as post-monsoon season. So in that condition, we measured the usable water in about 180 centimeter top profile, and we found that the water accession from the whole soil profile, that is about 2 meters, the oilseed brassica, that is mustard, which are having very important deep root system, they were able to extract 185 millimeter water in 1983-84 and 160 millimeter water in 1984-85. And in worst drought year in 1987-88, the plants were able to extract brassica 65. Another example is of chickpea, which is short duration crop, but even chickpea, which have a very important root system, they were not able to extract the whole water from the soil profile. So there is a need to put more emphasis to crop improvement program to enhance the rooting depth of soil, and we found that in contrasting genotypes of oilseed brassica, there is a difference about 49 centimeter in the deep and shallow rooting system crop varieties. And in chickpea, there is a difference about 30 centimeter and wheat about 50 centimeter. So all efforts should be made to increasing the rooting depth of soil so that the water available in the lower layer soil profile is made available to the crops. Then when there is a very dry condition and there is a zero rate of photosynthesis or no water is available for photosynthesis purposes, in that condition, we found that in case of oilseed brassicas, there are certain genotypes which can maintain the seed yield by diverting the biomass from root shoot to the developing grain to the extent of 24% in case of 785 varieties. Then RH30 is another very example. So that can again transfer about 10% of the biomass from root shoot to the developing grain. And RH30 is one of the genotype which have less diversion of the biomass to the root, but that has got the deep root system. So that is able to maintain high productivity under variable water supply conditions. But there are certain genotypes, though they are not able to divert a large quantity of the biomass or assimilate from the vegetative part to grain, but they have a so strong root system that they were able to grow even in vegetative part and also the more in the root system. So there is a lot of variability in the genotypes of oilseed brassica. And the same thing we found that the C305, 306 is a very old variety developed by Ramdhan Singh in Layarpur, that is in Punjab, now, Pakistan now. So most of the old scientists, they were educated at Layarpur, which is now Faisalabad today. And C306 variety developed by Dr. Ramdhan Singh is able to transfer about 55% of the biomass from the root shoot to the developing grain. So that is a very stable variety even today under organic farming conditions. And we found that in Rajasthan particularly, even 4 ton of the grain yield of C306 wheat variety can be maintained even under organic farming condition. Then yield in water limited environment is proportional to the water extraction from the subsoil during reproductive phase of growth. So there are some certain genotypes which are able to conserve more water during vegetative phase, and they use the more water during reproductive phase of growth, so that in that condition the grain yield is proportional to the water extraction from the subsoil layer to maintain the high grain yield. And particularly in present day condition, when there is uncertainty of the weather and climatic variability, there is a need to go for integrated farming system. And integrated farming system is productive and profitable as it encourages conservation and improvement in natural resources based value addition and utilization of products and waste as inputs in other enterprises on the farm. So we can go for combining the crops with livestock, with tree crops, with fruit crops, so that particularly the tree crops or fruit crops, they consume less water, but due to their root system, other things, they give always some yield to the farmers. And we should go for boundary transplantation of the trees, particularly the trees which have fodder values as well as fuel values. And in high rainfall conditions of Madhya Pradesh particularly, if we want to save the water for lean period, in that condition, the underwater water harvest tank should have about 10% area, and in that water harvesting tanks, we can go also for pisciculture, fish cultivation. Then, as per location specific, the area in fodder and grain crops should be about 40%. Diversified crops should be grown in that area, particularly combining the pulses, oilseed, spices, vegetables, and medicinal plants. So these plants are having the very, though not very high yield, but they having low value. They having very high value as per their prices per quintal or so. And again, for fruit areas should be left to about 10% of the area. So woody perennial biofuel fodder crops on farm boundary, manageable size of livestock depending upon the number of livestock to meet the essential requirements of fodder and grain. Then vermicomposting, when there are livestock, then we should go for vermicomposting. The rearing of poultry, birds and ducks in backyard is again when increase the particularly the income of the farmer without using much more resources. So the key resources, particularly for augmentation water for supplies, that is by conserving rainwater in the field, aquifers, water bodies, conjunctive use of brackish and fresh waters, treatment of sewage and industrial effluent for use in irrigation, and desilting of the existing water bodies and construction of new water storage structure to cope up with the scarcity of irrigation water during the rainfall. So we should go for increasing the water infiltration in the fields and also the water storage in the ponds and other things. So correction of water hydrology is very important. Particularly we are facing in Haryana and Punjab that in several blocks there is more extraction of water than water resource and water recharge. In that condition, particularly in Haryana, we found also in part of Punjab, when there is more extraction of water, and particularly in lower aquifer profile, there are certain pockets when there is salty water. So when we extract more water from the deeper layers, deeper aquifers of the groundwater, then there is flow of brackish water to the good quality of water, and that is deteriorating the water quality of underground water. So we should go for the other water saving devices like pressurized system of irrigation, as I already mentioned above, and surface drainage, recharge of aquifers, diversification of crop system, and watershed management, particularly rain-fed area, and conservation agriculture-based technology and holistic watershed management technique that should be maintained, particularly in those areas where there is high rainfall or low rainfall. So, just to increase the water use efficiency and productive water, we should go by all means to bring at least 50% area in next 10 years and pressurized system of irrigation, particularly sprinkler and drip system of irrigation as water saving devices. Then we should go for striving for better scientific link. That is the adaptive research, which is very missing link, particularly between farmer scientists. Scientists always believe that farmers do not adapt their recommended better practices, but the scientists are not aware also the local conditions. So water application and other things that need there is proper link between farmers and adaptive research. And regional stations which are located in different states, they should take care of the recommendation of water application as the local needs. The general recommendation will not find the solution of local specific differences between adaptive and climatic conditions. Then diversification and intensification is very important to promote or increase the productivity and efficiency of water. So promotion of climate smart agriculture, conservation agriculture based technology, land leveling, zero tillage, recycling crop residues, replacement of high water requiring crops with low requiring crops, particularly rice with maize or soybean, PGNP, or maize with soybean and other PGN crops. So there should be the proper combination of high watering crop with low water requiring crops, so that the adjustment can be made when there is more water through rainfall or when there is less rainfall. Sugarcane and maize-based intercrops, using the vegetables as intercrop between the wide rows of the sugarcane and maize in early stage of growth can give the farmers more income and more productivity of water. Diversification of field crops to agro-horticulture and agroforestry. These crops are very stable and they require less water but maintain the high profit of the farmers, particularly when there is aberrant weather condition. Promotion of pulses is green manure or organic manure, biofertilizer, organic farming, and evaluation of zero budget and nature ecosystem. Though there is no zero budget, but farmers say, the scientists particularly, for zero budgeting, they mean that whatever the material available in terms of cow dung or urine, other things, when that can be combined together, then take care or saving a lot of fertilizers and other things, and they can again maintain the high grade of soil health and with high organic matter content. So promotion of IFS approach along with the on-hand training and capacity building with biogas production, value addition, processing and marketing links for better resource optimization, employment, and increasing income of the farmer. Now there are a lot of models which are available, and by using the AI system or the water biosensors, here the application from distributed to field level and plant environment then can be made VGD by the farmers. The Tata apps now available for the farmers for giving the information of all types of diseases and other things, and also the availability of the water when there is a need of the crops. And for that purpose, we should go for precision farming based on the biosensors and AI tools. And particularly now there is also a lot of practices using unmanned vehicles like drones or so for refining and defining the precision agriculture in different cropping system. So there is also need for development of software for application of agrochemicals by using drones and other unmanned vehicles. So irrigation scheduling based on physiologic approach is very important, particularly in several parts of the Punjab, particularly Punjab Agricultural University. They are promoting the use of canopy minus air temperature difference. That is the use of infrared thermometer, which gave the conditions of the water available within the plant. When there is enough water available to the plant, the canopy of the plant remain cooler. So the difference between canopy temperature minus air temperature difference can be used for scheduling irrigation under scientific manners. And satellite can also be used, particularly in that condition, to indicate when should we irrigate and how much we should irrigate. So air conditioned irrigation based on water saturation deficit is another way to reduce the water application within the crop canopy by modifying the microclimate within the crop canopy. When the wheat is under heading stage and there is a very high water saturation deficit, with high water demand and low water supply from the root system to the plant. In that condition, if we use the available sprinkler system of irrigation in fine nozzles, then that can be used to change the microclimate within the crop profile, and by increasing the humidity and other things, and that particularly is able to maintain the grain yield even in later phase of the growth when there is deterioration in the rooting system and rooting activity. So irrigation for scheduling water applications should be based on physiological basis. Air condition can also be used, particularly to mitigate the later heat, particularly at the time of grain formation. In that condition, if little amount of water is used, particularly 1.5 millimeter to 2 millimeter water is adequate to maintain the air conditioning, particularly with the crop canopy. So there is again use of nanotechnology, other biosensors and other means to particularly improve the production system and that is decision support system for management of irrigation water in the command area. So in conclusion, the selection of crops, cropping system, matching with water supply, providing irrigation at the most sensitive stage of growth, use of well-designed surface, subsurface or pressure system of irrigation, mulching, fertigation, plasticulture, conjunctive use of sewage and brackish waters, and the holistic approach of watershed development would help in increasing the water productivity. It is needless to mention that the role of integrated approach of farming system, value addition, processing and marketing is immensely important as they help in increasing the productivity, profitability, employment, habitat conservation, and livelihood security of small and marginal farmers. So current practices of flood irrigation, as I mentioned earlier, should be discouraged as a matter of national priority. Integrated use of rain water and groundwater, including the safe use of brackish and treated sewerage water, be promoted in farming system more. Adoption of climate-smart agriculture as mitigation and adaptive measures for eco-friendly progress of agriculture. Thus, thrust in agriculture diversification, especially involving horticulture, agroforestry, silvipastoral approach, should form major strategy leading to considerable saving of valuable water resources, augmentation of water supply, and correction of hydrological balances, as I mentioned earlier, need to be strengthened to improve the resource base. So the future strategies should be need for creation database of rain, surface, groundwater resources on regular basis using modern tools of GIS, GPS, and AI approaches. Water be treated as national asset like the other crop inputs, particularly water should also be priced in order to ensure judicious use of this particular valuable natural resource. In Haryana, Punjab, and part of the western Uttar Pradesh, when there is a lot of water, the farmers they use particularly more water when that water is available, and when there water deficit, then when there is no adjustment in the crops, they again lose the production and other things. So there should be, if the water is used as input, that should be also priced. When we say 1 centimeter of water in 1 hectare area, that amount to about 10 lakh hectare. And one bottle of water now is available for 10 to 20 rupees. So if we want to, in future, reduce the water availability for irrigation, then we should go for particularly reducing the depth of water application using the pressure system or other irrigation, and we should save the water and divert from irrigation to industrial other purposes, which will be the major requirement in the future. So development of low-cost drip irrigation system and crop-specific fertigation schedules for enhancing the input efficiency, identification of crops, cropping pattern, optimum crop plants, and farming system, which is enhance the productivity and economic use efficiency water. So development of decision support system, as I mentioned earlier, and precision farming module for higher resource use efficiency is very important. And today, the role of AI, biosensors, unmanned vehicles, that is very important. And for that purpose, the young scientists or young girls even should be trained to use the drones and other things. And that is happening very well in Haryana and Punjab, where the even young girls are going for driving the drones and other things for application of chemicals, other things. So thank you very much for your patience hearing. If you have any question or query, I am here to answer that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, our respected guest of honor, for your insightful and valuable words and for occasionally sparing your precious time to be with us today. Now, this is a training session. If anyone has any doubts or question regarding this topic, kindly post them in the chat box. Dr. Singh will address and answer the queries one by one.
So, if there are no questions, I thank the organizer and also the audience for your patience and nice hearing. And if you have any other query or question, I am available. Those query can be answered. Even later on, you can pass on those queries, question to Dr. Gurpreet Singh. So thank you very much for providing this opportunity to me to share some of our experiences. Thanks, Dr. Manjot Kaur and other persons.
थैंक यू सर। सर 2 मिनट वेट करते हैं, लोगों के क्वेश्चन आने लगे हैं।
हाँ बोले, हिंदी में बोले, अंग्रेजी में बोले, जो भी।
जी आ रहे हैं क्वेश्चन, मैं आपको बताता हूँ।
हाँ ठीक। So I'm not hearing anything, Dr. Gurpreet Singh. Okay.
Yes, sir, maybe there is no question. If any question, we will share the email with the participants for future queries. If you are comfortable with that.
जी मैम चैट बॉक्स में आने लग गए हैं, प्लीज आप बोल दीजिए ना सर को।
कोई नहीं, बाद में देख लेंगे डॉक्टर गुरप्रीत सिंह, ठीक है, बिकॉज बाय द इवनिंग एवरीबडी इज ट्राइंग टायर्ड एंड दे आर वेटिंग फॉर डिनर एंड अदर थिंग्स।
ओके ओके
थैंक्स
सर,
अ लॉट।
सॉरी सॉरी, नहीं नहीं कोई दिक्कत
थैंक्स अ
नहीं सर,
लॉट।
ठीक है सर, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir. Again, thank you so much for your insightful
Thank
words
you,
and for
Dr.
patiently
Kaur.
sparing your precious time with us today.
हाँ.
Now, I also warmly welcome and thank you each one of you to this week of learning, collaboration, and innovation. May Plant 2025 sow the seeds of knowledge, nurture the spirit of entrepreneurship, and harvest the fruits of sustainable growth for generation to come. Now, it's time to extend my special thanks to Professor Gurpreet Singh, CEO and founder of Agriverse team, for taking the initiative to organize this event. I also express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Rajendra Manipal, Dr. Harban Singh, Dr. Gushminder Singh, Lavjit Singh, Gurdeep Singh, and Arshdeep Singh for their valuable support and contribution. Let's make the event successful by joining the hands together. Once again, thanks to all of you being for a part of Plant 2025. And thank you for your patience, trust, and precious time. And thank you to be with us today. Once again, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So thanks. I'm leaving now. Thank you. Are you
Yes.
permitting me to leave?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Oh, thanks.
sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.